Got it. Okay. So, hello again, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in this class today. And today we're going to talk about healing anxiety and trauma. So, very first thing, I got to say this. This is a very huge topic. So, for me to even try to unpack a lot of information to you in 1 hour is really incredulous. But I am so excited about the content that is in here. So I really hope that you're gonna just grab all the information and really stay with us throughout and pay attention. Okay, so let me get started very quickly by sharing screen, okay? Let's see. Okay, everybody can see this well? Yep, good. Okay. So we have a whole group of different types of people in here in the Zoom room today. There is a group of people who are what we call the oilers. For those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, they're just people who have been using the products from the company that I actually work with. So there's a lot of essential oils, supplements, and natural therapy stuff that these guys use. So these guys are going to be very familiar with the products, but in terms of the information, they're going to talk about nervous system today. It could be newer to them. And then I also have a whole bunch of people in here that are like, no clue the products you're going to be talking about. I just want to come here and understand, how do I actually help myself or someone that I care about deal with anxiety? And what is this thing about trauma? It sounds very scary, okay? Isn't that only for like very, very serious conditions? So I want to unpack all this for you and have you be empowered to really start supporting yourself and supporting other people, okay? Now okay, before I get going, just a little disclaimer that a lot of the information in here are information that is here based on my experience and doesn't represent the company that I actually represent. So just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, this is a quick introduction. This is me. My name is Kai. For those of you who have never met before, hello, hi again, and I'm based in Singapore. So I'm the managing director of a 13-year-old company. We do wellness business in APAC and internationally. And I manage a global customer base of close to 30,000 consumers. So I've also started developing and growing as a health coach with this institution called IIN, which is based in New York. And earlier on, I mentioned essential oils. The brand that we particularly represent and stand for is the Young Living Essential Oils. And just one little thing that I did want to put in here right at the beginning. I normally don't have this part in my usual intro, but I do want to put it up front that I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression in 2018. And since then, I've actually worked through a lot of different medical support. So counselors, psychotherapists, et cetera, et cetera. So I've walked through a lot of different, what we call talk therapies. And then I began to actually work with the body, okay? And you're going to hear this other term, soma or somatics, which actually represents the body. So I will tell you a little bit more how I came to the study of somatic therapies and why tonight is really important for you to really begin to be empowered for a much more thorough way to heal, okay? Now with me tonight, while you're going to hear me almost all the time, I have a very, very important person and a friend in the room with me today. And this is Clarine. So she's the one busy typing in the chat, making sure you guys are all good, all coming in and saying hi. I'm just going to give her a little bit of airtime to also just quickly introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Clarine. I'm a mother of 2 boys, 5 and 7. I'm currently a motherhood coach, and a founder of the Oiling Place. So the Oiling Place is a place whereby I teach baby massage as well as sharing about Young Living essential oils. So I'm also an associate trainer with Young Living Singapore and currently in training certified life coach. So my journey is I actually support other mothers and helping them to, especially first time mom, feel confident and feel at ease in transiting to motherhood, supporting them with their babies and also as their child grows older. Yeah, thank you, Kai.
Thank you, Clarine. So Clarine is mostly the biggest support in the back end today. And even with questions and all that, she will be managing and supporting me with the chat, okay? So today's content will cover introduction, which actually is quite a bit because don't worry, it is not heavy. I promise you the information will intrigue you, okay? And then that introduction is going to help you begin to understand your nervous system. Why are we even talking about essential oils here? We're going to move on to what can you do? And you're actually all going to be practicing with me. So tonight is not just, I'm eating my dinner behind a closed screen, I'm lying on bed doing nothing, okay? Even if your screens are off, I'll love for you to practice with me later because this is somatic practices, okay? Body practices. And then after that, there's going to be a third portion. We're going to talk about how to get the Young Living products if you're not already someone using that. And then, of course, Q&A. Okay, let's start with a very quick glimpse of my story. And it all began in 2018. So I was digging around. So that was a very, very hard season in my life. And that was possibly one of the ugliest pictures of myself. My eyes are swollen, face is sunken, and that's my cat in my hands who has just passed on. In fact, actually, I had to put her to sleep. In 2018 itself, one after another, different incidences started happening in my life. So it started with my marriage falling apart in June. And then what happened was I have to move out of my marital home. So I lost my marriage, I lost my home. My work was affected because my partner was somebody who was actually working with me in my business. So even at work front, it was a very, very shaky ground for me. At the same time, I remember in the very same month, my mentor in my business, who is the founder of the company, he passed away. That was a huge blow to face all this one after another. Two really good friends, right after that, in the following month, died one after another, like literally today and tomorrow kind of situation. Both passed away with cancer. And then after that, my cat suddenly got diagnosed with cancer. And it got so severe, we had no choice but to put her to sleep. So the events that happened came one after another in such a crazy speed. I was left shattered. I was so shaken that I didn't even know what was going on with my whole body. So I began to notice how much, or rather, how little I was eating, how weak I was feeling. Every morning when I wake up, and subsequently for the next 1.5 years, I will always wake up nauseous and needing to go to the bathroom to retch. So nothing comes up. It's just a nervousness in the stomach. That means I have to throw up. I cannot stay focused. I stopped work for almost 2.5 years, like cannot work. I cannot engage in conversations like I am doing right now with any one of you, because sitting down at a table for even just 10 to 15 minutes will be so difficult. I cannot keep eye contact. I want to be distracted. Everything is falling apart. Eventually, my friends who knew I was fighting so hard against seeing a doctor finally convinced me. I got diagnosed. I got medicated. And then all of a sudden I was like, what is this? The minute I took a piece of medication, I realized that, oh, I just seem to come out of this fog. You know, I suddenly can think, I suddenly can feel, I suddenly am not scared. But taking the medication on a continuous basis also meant that I always suffered from the side effect. So one of the things that happened is, while it stops my anxiety really fast, what I was noticing was that as I was waking up or coming, usually it puts me to sleep, and as I come out of the sleep, for the next 2 hours, I would be so foggy that I cannot think straight. It was affecting my lifestyle. It was affecting how I was relating to and connecting with people. So all of that took a long time. I had to go back one day to my doctor and ask him, when can I get off the medication? And my doctor, whom I actually respect dearly, said this to me, that the doctors will be very, very fast and good at putting me on medication or any person on medication, but they may never know when they can take you off. And if you want to come off it, you have to do the work. So I told myself, well, then I need to figure out how to get myself off it. So earlier on, in my introduction, you guys might have seen that I had studied nutrition with a New York institution. So that was my first avenue, to dive back into everything that I've learned about nutrition, because even food and nutrition can affect us physically, to become very moody, to not be able to function well. So that was the first route. I heavily worked on the nutrition part of things. And today we don't have time to talk about that. But after really working through that, then I realized that, oh, I was getting better. And then I started working with scents, which we will talk about later on. I started doing a lot more body therapy work. And I was going better and better and better until about a year ago. I realized that my anxiety started coming back again. And this time now, while it doesn't last as long, when it comes back, it can come back with a vengeance. So it hits me and I'm just completely wiped out for the day. So I might appear really weird to my friends, because on one moment I look completely sane like I am right now. And then there will be moments that I go, I can't. Today, I can't. I can't relate to you. I can't work with you. I can't go out with you. I can't even chat with you online. And that really started me researching and trying to understand what's going on. Okay. So today, the pieces that I'm going to be sharing in a short moment will begin to show you. I want to talk a little bit about this because I know that in the audience, a lot of the people who've responded to this class are dealing with anxiety yourself. And I want you to know that you're not alone, and I want to assure you that there's a way out of this, okay? So I want to give you background information to enable and empower you. So first thing first, I'm going to actually teach you a little bit about nervous system. And before we start, it is so important that we learn what is trauma. So most of you guys, if you've heard the word trauma, you would think that that would happen to somebody who was abused, who went through war, who had an accident, etc. Here's the real definition of trauma. Trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you as a result of what happened to you. So trauma is any experience that you went through that is felt as too much, too little, too fast, then we are able to cope. So you could be in a perfectly healthy looking family, but growing up, if your parents were very busy and they weren't able to give you attention, so there was too little attention, too little affection, too little time for you, too little safety. You could, as a very young child, begin to feel unsafe and start developing a sense, a small nervousness that can be triggered further in the future. So too much could have been just too much violence at home, too much beating, too much scolding, too much stress for whatever reason, too fast, somebody passed away really fast, somebody that you're relating to, you didn't have time to say goodbye. All this can create trauma. Traditionally, our nervous system is very often illustrated in this simple, very simplified format. Turn on or turn off. Turn on means sympathetic, turn off, we call it parasympathetic. So the easiest way to look at it is, oh, right now, okay, I'm doing things, I'm very active, I'm engaging in stuff, I am fighting with you, I am in activities with you. Therefore, my nervous system is on. If I'm resting, I'm relaxing, then it's off. In the recent years, in fact, in 1994, some of the doctors, researchers started looking at our nervous system and realized that our nervous system, it's not a binary kind of turn on, turn off. It doesn't work that way. So they came up with, the person who wrote this is Dr. Stephen Porges. So he wrote the polyvagal theory. The idea behind it is your nervous system is like a ladder. You go up and down, not on and off. You go up and down. So if you look at that green phase, the up, okay, that phase is called the ventral vagal. In that space, when your nervous system is engaged in that space, you are safe, you feel social, so you feel connected to people, warm, curious, engaged, capable, people are creative, you can flow with things, you are supportive, and you are feeling supported, and you're feeling very balanced, okay? So that's usually a happy person, okay? You're going to see a person going about healthily living. Now, then your nervous system can then go downwards on the ladder, and then it goes into what we call the sympathetic state, which is when your nervous system starts to get mobilized. Okay, we call it a fight flight. Most of you might have heard that before. This is an activated state. You might, on the good spectrum of it, it's a sense of motivation. Even right now, by the way, there is a mix of ventral, vagal, and sympathetic system for me, okay? I do need to have some part of my sympathetic system activated in order to be animated, to be teaching you, to be engaging you. Otherwise, I'll be lying on bed, okay? Which is completely like relaxed, chill. So sympathetic isn't always bad. However, there's a spectrum. Now, if it keeps moving downwards into what we call the dorsal vagal state, that is an immobilized collapse stage. And in that stage, your nervous system shuts down, okay? Think of it this way. If you look at home appliances, some electrical appliances, they actually have a safety switch internally so that the electric item doesn't overheat. For example, like an iron, right? You can plug it in and have the switch turn on. Internally, it knows how to switch off if it's too hot, so that the appliance doesn't overheat. But in that stage is where a human being becomes very dark, very foggy, disconnected, depressed, numb, silent, helpless, hopeless, feeling cold, and feeling fatigued. So this is a ladder, like I say, it is very important to understand. I'm giving you guys a basic structure. If you, for example, notice that you're going through anxieties, begin to notice when am I at which state as I move through my daily activities? When am I in ventral? When am I feeling a little bit more edgy, okay? And when am I collapsed, meaning I can't do anything and I'm lying in bed, I don't want to meet people, I don't want to socialize, I want to shut the rest of the world out, okay? So it's very important to understand that. Now, why do we work with the human body instead of just going for therapy, counseling, or take medication? So under the polyvagal theory, there is this idea, or it's not an idea, actually. It is a discovery about a vagus nerve that runs from our brain all the way into our digestive system, our stomach. Okay, it's called the vagus nerve. It is an information superhighway. Okay, so it transmits information throughout your system. Now, however, what is transmitted from the mind to the body is only 20%. Okay, there's only 20% information going from up to down. But from the body to the mind, from down to up, is 80%. So can you imagine that the power of this is that if you're constantly just going and sit with a counselor to talk about what happened, to talk through what your stress is, etc., you're only working on healing 20%. Okay, the information is coming top to bottom. Okay, if you really, really wanted to have a much more thorough healing, you need to begin engaging the body. Okay, and I will actually describe this a little bit more in a short while. So right now I'm going to have you guys watch a video. Okay, let me start this very quickly and bring up my, let's see. Ooh. So this is a YouTube video, okay? You guys can easily Google it up, but it is so fascinating. There's no sound to it anyway, okay? So I'm going to have you guys just watch as I talk through it. So this is about, this is a wildlife scene, okay? And what you're seeing right now is a leopard that has hunted down an impala, which is like a deer, right? The impala is now lying on the ground and it's not dead, by the way. So the leopard has just basically like, you know, collects itself over it to trap it. So I'm gonna, don't worry, no violence here. So don't need to cover your eyes and be like, I can't watch the blood, okay? So I'm just gonna have you watch. It's a little bit shaky because it's clearly filmed by amateurs. Can you see how the eyes of the deer it's not even blinking? It's not even moving. This is in a safari. There's a hyena that's coming, okay? And so this poor deer looks like it's doomed to die, okay? Either the leopard's going to eat it up or the hyena will follow after to eat up the rest of the body, okay? So notice how the head just flops down. It is completely lifeless. It has no energy. This is what I want you guys to remember, the dorsal. Refer to the leather, okay? Leopard picks it up. Every time when you look at the impala doesn't move. It doesn't have energy. In a dorsal vagal at the bottom of the leather kind of stage, what happens is you cannot bring yourself. There is so much fear that you're immobilized. You cannot move at all. Now, in this clip, it's very cute. Two baboons came about. They are the heroes in this video clip, okay? You see the two monkeys at the side? I do not know why the leopard, I can't explain this, by the way, why the leopard would be afraid of the baboon. I guess, see, it starts running away. Okay, the baboons come. Look at the deer. It is still flat on the ground, not able to come alive at all. Okay, so let's observe this for a while. There is no sign of life. It doesn't even look like it's breathing. So we're gonna just observe a little bit because just watch the stomach. Right now, there's no sign of air coming in whatsoever. Now the stomach is rising. It is slowly beginning to take in breath. The body is beginning to realize, I seem to be safe. I can breathe. I'm a little bit out of danger. If you look at the grass near the nose, there's a little bit more breathing around in that area, okay? So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. So it stays in this position for quite a while. And then it gets up. And look at what the impala is doing right now. Nature has been built in such a way all animals know how to do this. It is shaking out the nervousness. It is doing whatever it needs to do to move that fear out of its body. Okay. Literally from how it was just now, dorsal vagal, it begins to have breath coming in. Right now, it's probably in the sympathetic stage because it's needing to activate itself back to life. Okay. So that movement, it's involuntary. The impala is not deliberately doing this. It suddenly gets up and then it runs away. And it's completely back to life. Take this one away, stop sharing. I'm going to bring you guys back to the content here. Okay. So before we talk about resourcing, why did I show you guys that? The reason I show you guys that video is to understand that humans and animals all are built with very similar nervous system. So we go through that ladder, and as we move through that, we get nervous and energy gets trapped. We will look like there's no way we can move and engage in any activities. And our body needs to break state. It needs to be able to, move violently, shake itself, etc., in order to get itself back into a ventral vagal stage, which remember is the top of the ladder where it's healthy, it's bouncy, it can run and can function normally. Now, if you think about this, as human beings, how many of us, after going through a really traumatic incident that we cannot cope with, okay, that we actually pause to really process and let the body actually tell us what it needs? So many people do not even cry. Do you know that the act of crying, stress hormones is actually released? But there are people who will not even let themselves cry. They would not talk about it. They don't have safe spaces to process it. So all that energy that was stored, all that fear that was actually stored inside the body, the shocked body, does not leave. So those memories, as they accumulate over the years, it starts to create problems around your health system. Okay. Now, we're going to get into that bit a little bit in a little bit. So now I'm going to move you guys into this idea called resource. Okay. Resource is any experience which creates more settling or calm in your body. So in the world of healing, of body works, or working with people with anxiety, they will talk about resources as any experiences internal inside the body or external. Okay. If we have more resources, we are able to help our nervous system regulate itself back. And again, we'll look at all this in detail. So when we use resources, we're teaching the nervous system that it can experience stress and then come back to a state of calm. Most of us experience stress and stays in stress. That's why over time, you're just repeatedly experiencing anxiety. And after a while, your nervous system does not know that it can go back to a state of calm. Okay? Nervous systems are not supposed to just be always peaceful. It will always move up and down the ladder. But once it keeps staying stuck in a place, it begins to forget, how do I regulate back? Now, this is something that when I first learned it, it really shocked me. You can only heal as much as you can resource. In order for us to be able to go back to process and resolve unhealed trauma, we need to first build a sense of support and strength inside and outside. That means the more resources you have inside, and outside of you, the more resources that you acquire and learn that you can have, you are able to heal much further. So this is where we come in and talk about essential oils. So essential oil can be regarded as a resource. Okay, there are many, many other things that are resources also, but specifically, I want to talk about essential oils today. This is an external resource. So plant essences can be used to fight bacteria, viruses, deliver oxygen, support healing. It does all this for plants and for the human being. The interesting thing about plant molecules is that every little drop of essential oil contains approximately 40 million trillion molecules. It moves so fast through your body that it takes 20 seconds to go to your brain, 2 minutes to your bloodstream, and 20 minutes to every single cell in your body. Now, this is the interesting part. When you actually inhale your essential oil, the molecules goes through the nose and then goes into the brain system. If you look at this chart with the little green arrows, it shows you how the oils, the molecules would have interacted within your brain. And I just want to highlight two important parts. The first is it goes to the limbic system or the limbic brain. Okay, that we have 3 brains, if you don't know yet, 3 brains in our head. Okay, there is one that is an emotional brain. And in that emotional brain, there is a small little gland called the amygdala. The amygdala is what we call the threat center. It is that little guy inside your brain that constantly is in alert mode. If it feels threatened, it sends out all the crazy signals to your body to begin to help you. There's also another little guy inside the brain, which is called the hippocampus. And the hippocampus, I think of it as a memory bank. So it sits inside your brain and it stores all your memories. Okay. Here's the thing that happens when you have experienced a lot of shocking events or things that you don't feel you're able to cope with. Number one, the amygdala is constantly sending out signals. You are in danger, you are in danger, you are in danger, even though the event has passed. Every time we think about it, every time we process it verbally with someone, we are activating the amygdala again, and it's telling you, you are unsafe, you are unsafe, you are unsafe. Okay, that is one of the reasons why we keep going back in the loop of feeling anxious again, because the amygdala sends a threat that no longer is here, but it keeps thinking that it's here. Okay. The other thing that's very important, I told you guys, the hippocampus, the memory bank, you need to know when your body suddenly goes into trauma, something happened, your hippocampus shuts down. Okay, it just shuts down. So what happens is the event, the memory of the event doesn't go into the usual memory bank. It gets stored in parts of your body, in your muscles, in your tissues, in your fascias. That is why anxiety comes so fast. You don't think yourself anxious. You experience anxiousness in the body because those events are stuck inside the body and they get triggered really, really fast in nanoseconds. Okay. One last thing to note about this little brain picture is the hypothalamus. That is the control coordinating center kind of in your brain. And that guy, as it interacts with the essential oils, it influences the nervous system by balancing the hormones. And again, as these plant molecules travel through your nose into the brain, what happens is it starts to calm the amygdala down. It starts to interact with the hippocampus and relaxes and sometimes releases certain memories. Now, I'm not going to go through a lot of details in this chart, but just to let you know, if you're very, very new to essential oils, that there are many different grades. A lot of people think, oh, we're just talking about plant oils. I could grab it from a little shopping, like if I go to the mall, all the essential oils and the shopping carts, etc., the ones I can get in the pharmacy are all similar. That is not true. There are at least 4 different categories of essential oils. Right at the bottom, as depicted by the picture, in majority is synthetic oil. Okay, and synthetic oils do not have any plant essences in there. They are manufactured in the lab, completely chemicals. Okay, and I'm just going to shoot all the way up to the top of that triangle, which is grade A essential oil. That is what we call a therapeutic essential oil. Therapeutic essential oils are distilled in very thorough process from making sure that the growth process, the seeding, growing, harvesting, bottling processes are kept to the highest standards so that every bit of its healing energies of the plant is retained. And then as you use it, you experience it. So in works like this, when I actually am working with anyone going through things like this, I would tell them, I wouldn't have you use anything less than a grade A essential oil, because it's not going to impact you positively. And on top of that, you're inhaling chemicals into your body. And that is never going to be helpful. In the world of therapeutic grade A essential oils, they can be used, diffused, inhaled, applied for massages, or added to food and drinks. Okay, a lot of people are unfamiliar with the last category, but it is absolutely possible. So this is the part where we're going to start doing some activities together with me, okay? And we're also going to be talking about some essential oils that you can use. If you want to, go ahead, take a snapshot of the screen. So one of the things that I want you to go away today is to learn this 5-step SCOPE, SCOPE, okay? If you're in anxiety, these are all the different things that you can begin to use as resources. Remember, we talk about the word resources, okay? And I'm going to show you how they are combined and used together. So the first one, S, slow down, okay? When you start to notice any kind of panic, tell yourself, slow down. Now, if you find it hard, begin to just process breath. So one of the simplest way is to do what I call a 4-6 breath. If you follow me on my IG, I just did a demonstration and a reel on it just yesterday. This is breathing in 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want you guys all to try it one more time with me. Inhale 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you notice exhalation is longer. Exhalation is what activates our parasympathetic calming down state. Inhalation brings life when we take in oxygen. So that activates us into a sympathetic state. So we want to breathe, but we want to elongate the exhale. Then your body starts to go, oh, nervous system starts to say, oh, there's breath coming in. Okay, there's breath going out, and the out breath is longer. I will naturally activate the slowing down. Okay. Another breathing that you can take into consideration is just deep belly breathing. So a lot of people breathe very shallow, just to the chest. So you can just slow down and notice. If you're breathing right now, you just breathe, it's just your chest rising. What you want to do is then learn to put your hands, okay, your hand on your belly. If you're lying down or sitting up, if you're taking a breath, make sure it goes all the way in. Let me just show you guys. So in the beginning, it might look a little bit deliberate, but you do want to bring the oxygen as far in as possible. Okay, those actions will slow you down. Okay. C, you want to begin to connect to your body. One of the things that happens with anxiety, if you've ever noticed, is it's all in the head. Okay, there's a lot of thoughts running around, and you're so disconnected to your whole body. So you want to connect back to your body. Remember the 80-20 rule, connect back to your body and work with your body so that it can tell your brain, it's okay, you are safe. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a couple of different things that you can do. The first one, we call it a site activation stretch. Oh, by the way, sorry. During the slowdown process, one of the things I definitely love to do is to just use essential oils. So the breathing, because you're deliberately breathing and you're inhaling the essences, you are not just using breath, which is an internal resource, you're also adding an external resource. Remember how the oils go into the different parts of your brain, your emotional brain, and it starts to help it double the action. Calm down. Okay, so now we're going to use it to do with the connect with your body. So the side activation, not so much. Let's leave that alone, but I'm going to show you how to do that. All you're going to do, feet planted firmly on the ground, and I want you to stretch your head towards the left side. So your right side of the neck is stretched, okay? Your vagus nerve is felt very often the side of your neck, okay? So as you stretch this way, I want you to look your eyes without moving your head. Your eyes rotate towards the ceiling and stay there. So I'm going to be looking at you guys. You keep your eyes up there. Do not overstretch, counting to 30 seconds. So now it's about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, bring yourself back. Okay. Now, for some people, as they do this, they might yawn a lot, or they might notice their breath slow down. Basically, all you're doing is you're activating your vagus nerve. Remember, the vagus nerve, the superhighway. So we're going to do the other side. I'm going to make sure you guys are balanced. We might overstretch tonight's class a little bit, okay? So stay with me as possible. Turn the other side, okay? Keep your head facing the front, but tilt to the side. And now, just your eyes. Stay relaxed. Do not overstretch. This is not a competition. Just tilt your eyes upwards. These little movements are also disrupting that sense of anxiety, and the left and the right brain needs to interact, and therefore is creating a new communication to your body to say, oh, whatever we were in just now, okay? Stress mode, let's get out of it, okay? So in this space, keep breathing. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and bring it back. Just as simple as that. You can do this anywhere, okay? Next, I'm going to teach you guys something called havening, okay? And I love this. So I'm going to grab an oil. In my hand is lavender, okay? I'm going to put a couple of drops. Havening is a neuroscience technique that actually calms the amygdala. Remember, the amygdala is the threat center. So what you want to do is, normally when we put essential oils into your hand, you will rub it in circular motion. In this case, what you're going to do is you're going to palm it left to right. So this is actually a very, very soothing. You're not rubbing your hands hard. And as you do this, the fragrance of the aroma is already dissipating and you're smelling it. So this left to right motion, okay, is what we call havening. And it's producing delta waves, just touching skin. And after doing this a few times, very gently, you can begin to rub from shoulders down to arms, shoulders down to arms. Guess why when little kids are upset? As a parent, you will grab them and you will soothe them. So this is a self-soothing technique, okay? And if you want to, what you can also begin to do is to gently touch your face. Okay? If you don't want to, you can keep it to just the hands and the arms. And the beautiful thing is you actually smell the essential oil. And these touches, they will stimulate the body in a gentle way to create the release of happy hormones. Okay? So this is going to be another way to calm down. Third way to connect, again, you could put a drop of essential oil in your palm. We're going to do the butterfly hug. This is also one of my favorite, and little children love it. So teach your little kids, empower them how not to stay in anxiety. So when you just rub your palms together, and then what you're going to do is first give yourself a hug. We actually don't give ourselves enough hugs. We give other people hugs. So allow yourself, you decide, do you prefer a gentle one? Do you prefer a tight squeeze? Whatever feels soothing for you, use that. Sometimes in the middle of the night, when I wake up feeling anxious, I hug myself, okay? And then after that, bring the palms to the front of your chest, place them on your chest. Okay, I'm going to bring the screen down a little bit so you guys can see. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to tap left, right, alternate. Guess why? Mommies, again, are very intuitive. When your kids are sleeping and you want to soothe them, do you not gently tap on them? So as you do this, because your palms are also centered with your oils. It's nice to see Jo yawning already. She's tired. That's a sign that your body nervous system is slowing down. Okay, it's bringing you into relaxation. So butterfly hug with the thumping, it also produces gentle sound that is very, very soothing for your nervous system. Okay. We're learning quite a bit today. You guys still okay to learn some more? Okay. So we're going to go to O. With O, I don't usually use oils. O is for orient. So I want you guys to just sit, relax, okay? And just listen to my instructions. So what I want you to do is take a couple of deep breaths in. So breathing in. If you have voice, you can actually just take a couple of deep breaths. So don't look at me. Just allow your eyes to look into the room that you're in. Just allow your eyes to wander. There is no specific destination that it's looking for. Just allow it to wander. If your head is going to turn, if your neck wants to turn, let them, as if they are in charge. So just let your eyes roam. If you want to keep the scent near your nose, that's entirely possible. But keep your eyes open. So orient is to allow your eyes to take in the surrounding. Instead of paying attention to the tension in your body, you pay attention to what's outside and look for something pleasant to look at. Notice the texture. Notice the color. Okay. That in itself, orienting, is one way to calm your nervous system down. Okay. Next one, P. P is for pendulate. I am seeing many yawning faces. This is the first time in my class that I absolutely am thrilled that we have so many people yawning. Okay. And this is a good sign. Your body is relaxing. So pendulate. Okay. Now, this one, you guys can close your eyes. Just do not sleep on me. Okay. It's easier to pendulate with your eyes closed, but well, some people do it with their eyes open. Just close your eyes if you're comfortable with that and follow my voice. So I want you to notice, kind of scan through your entire body and notice, where do you feel in your body a sense of ease? Find parts of your body that feels easy. In fact, you might have to pay attention to parts of the body that actually seems so insignificant right now. When I was doing this activity, I had to think of my chin because my chin almost is feeling nothing. But that's ease. Is it your ears? Is it your scalp? Is it your little toes? So I want you to notice which part of your body feels ease. Okay? And then I want you to scan again. And I want you to look for parts of your body that feels tension. This is usually much, much easier for most people. They feel it in their spine, lower back, neck, maybe sides of their heads. Okay. But keeping your eyes closed, I want you to pendulate. Pendulate means swing back to places that you feel ease. Maybe it's the root of your hair. Maybe it's your eyebrows. What about the bed of your fingernails? Where is your body so relaxed that you almost don't feel anything? Okay, and slowly bring yourself back, okay, before you guys sleep on me. So the idea of pendulating is to educate your nervous system. We are so wound up to know where in our body we have pain, okay? But we stop noticing where in our body we don't. I call that a reservoir of peace, okay? So you need to learn how to move. You don't have to go, oh, I don't want to think about the tension. It is okay. It's part of your body, okay? But you want to teach your body, I can feel ease and I can feel tension and I can control it back and pay attention to ease again. All right. Well, we're pretty much done with the experiential. Before anyone falls asleep, I do want to continue. E in scope is to engage. So this is really learning to reach out to people. Okay, this is not so much an exercise. When you're in anxiety, reach out. Your body and your brain will tell you not to. It will tell you it is shameful. It will tell you no one understands. Those are just your thoughts at that point in time. Allow yourself to find people who are safe, that you can go, I'm not feeling very good right now. I just want to text you and let you know. Okay. Now I'm just going to cover a few slides for direct issues that people usually face when they're dealing with anxieties and have a lot of trauma stuck in their body, and just tell you what are some of the oils that are great for using. Okay. So this should go past fairly fast. Breath and breathing. Okay. This is to just remember in your S, slowing down, and in connecting. A lot of breath work is important, okay? But we can expand the capacity of our lungs with essential oils that help us breathe deeper. So the two oils that I particularly love, the red bottle is called RC. So RC stands for respiratory condition. So it generally supports the body in breathing well. It is a blend of eucalyptus oils. And then the second oil, which a lot of people know, and it's my favorite go-to, it's peppermint, okay? Peppermint actually just recharges your body and gives it a sense of like just coolness. And in fact, many of you might have heard of ice bath, people dipping themselves in ice. The sensation of cold actually activates your polyvagal system a lot. So peppermint, which is a very, very cooling scent, can actually cool your system down as well, okay? Sleep and staying calm in the day is one of the most challenging things we always hear people have. So the couple of oils that I love using, I love having with me, one is Valor. It's a blend that really helps me stay calm. I like to rub it on my stomach and along my spine, and even sometimes at the back of my neck. So it releases the tension. And at the same time, the scent itself is very stabilizing and very grounding. Frankincense is just one single plant. It's from the age-old tree, frankincense tree. And for those of you who are familiar with the story of baby Jesus, when baby Jesus was born, that was one of the things that was gifted to him by the three wise men. So it's a very precious oil, and it actually is so grounding and modulating for moods. It is so loved for how it actually calms people down. Lavender. So there are two different packagings that you're seeing there, the purple and the white packaging. They are exactly the same thing, in case you're wondering, but from just a marketing angle, the white labels are always positioned as what we call dietary oils that you can consume, okay? But exactly same content in there. So lavender, you can apply it to your chest, apply it to the back of the neck. I like to even apply it to my scalp before I go to bed. It eases you into your parasympathetic zone really fast. Now, it can be consumed. So one of the studies actually shows that when people actually consume lavender oil, so you can put that in capsules, put that in water, though, just a warning, lavender smells really wonderful, but actually orally, not tasty, okay? So the best way to take it perhaps is in little empty capsules, or some people put it in beverages like a milk, like oat milk or something. Okay, so taking that or under tongue actually soothes your nervous system down super fast to aid you into sleep. The other oil that I actually really like is Deep Relief. A lot of people think of this oil, it's a blend of peppermint, copaiba. It's a very activating oil, but yet in there is one ingredient which is vetiver. And vetiver is a highly, highly grounding oil. So as you actually apply that oil, while it has the pepperminty scent going through your system, it also has the vetiver that actually supports you into calm and rest. Generally, most people use vetiver for massages in the body, but the scent itself can really calm you down. And you can use it if you're wearing sleeveless. Use it for your connecting to body kind of somatic practices to help you calm down. Digestion is something that always becomes a challenge when people are highly stressed, constantly anxious. If you notice the video, or rather, if you remember the video of the impala lying on the ground, it was not breathing, okay? It was immobilized. In a stage of complete stress, nothing goes into your digestive system. So your digestive system shuts down. So it's the same for animals, same for us. So when we're constantly stressed, our digestive tracts literally just goes on strikes. Okay, you're getting constipation, you're getting gas, you're getting bloating issues. The common oils that we use here, I love the lemon, as simple as that. You can actually apply it. Or again, the white label, the ones for ingestions, great putting 1 or 2 drops in water. It gets the digestive system activated and moving. Okay. Deep Relief, again, has copaiba in there. And that is a great, great oil for digestion. There is a blend in the red little bottle called Digest. It has ginger, peppermint, a couple of other like very herb-like things. This blend, as the name implies, completely is for digestion. Okay, you can just apply, or you can actually just add it to beverages as well. And then last but not least, peppermint. Okay, peppermint is that well-loved oil that everybody knows is great for your digestive system. So in terms of content and teaching you guys all the different things you can use, we're pretty much done. But I do want to get to our Q&A and some of the other resources that we have. So before I do that, I'm going to talk to the people who are brand new, who has never used the Young Living products. Next question that they're likely to ask is, how do I get my products if I do want to try? So we have many people from many different countries right now. So I'm going to quickly run through some options. And then later on in the evening, we'll be sending you emails. And from there, you can contact myself or Clarion to decide how you want to move forward. So for the Singapore people, okay, couple of things that you can look at. So this is a pretty standard but highly, highly popular set. It has 10 oils in there. And many of the oils I've covered earlier on in the practices that we use. So there are things like your RC, respiratory condition, you can use that, your Digest. We didn't touch on the Thieves and Purification, which are really great for immune system. But I've also talked about Deep Relief and Valor. So in this set, you're also going to find lemon, peppermint, lemon, peppermint, lavender, frankincense. Everything that we've covered earlier on. Okay. And then it has a base oil for dilution. It comes with a diffuser. So the usual retail value of this entire set of oil is more than 400 Singapore dollars. But as a starting kit for people to get on board easily without needing to think which oils do they want, the set in Singapore, because of its complex GST, it is now 252.34. Okay. You can pick it up from the office and there is a shipping fee. Now, for the purpose of ease, I've already picked up 3 of my top oils that people should have if they do want to deal with anxieties. So I'm going to give you just the price for that. But these prices are very different because they are from retail price and we're giving you 10% off. The earlier on starter kits are completely at what we call members prices, which is the lowest prices that people can get in the market, including myself and Clarion. Okay. So if you're choosing to say, hey, I just want to try 1 or 2, I'm not ready to invest in a whole set, you can look at 3 of these and pick whichever one that you think is going to work for you. So there is Valor, okay, which is 80.60. This is already discounted 10% off from retail price. And then there is Lavender, which is 52, and then Deep Relief, which comes in a roller bottle at $63. Okay, you can just kind of screenshot it very quickly because we're going to go pretty fast. Okay. Now, I also know in our audience, we do have some people from Thailand. Okay, so again, this kit is available. It ships out from actually Malaysia right now, but is quoted in USD. So it's 165 and the shipping is USD $15, exactly the same oils. The 3 oils I had recommended earlier, these are the prices, 10% less. Take a screenshot. I've given you the USD and the estimated Thai baht that is going to convert to. And all of this includes postage, so you don't have to worry about the postage. Okay. and the Philippines. Okay, we have a huge crowd of Filipinos in here. So this picture looks a little bit different, but it's the same. Okay, it's the same content, same oils. And this kit is at 8825 Filipino peso. The shipping is a little bit different because Philippines is huge depending where it's being shipped to. So I'm going to give you a ballpark to just have you understand. The shipping to Metro Manila is about 240, okay, peso. And if individually purchased, it is these kind of prices. Take a very quick screenshot of this. Now, so what's happening today is Clarine and myself are extending a 3-day special promo. Okay, this is a portable diffuser. In fact, I do have one with me right now. It's about this size. Okay, it allows you to put in 2 oils. Okay, they don't diffuse together at the same time. So you can choose one that's for resting and one that's more uplifting. So you have 2 different oils placed in there. And this particular diffuser is given to our it's given free to brand new members who enroll under Clarine or my referral code. So our referral codes are in the screen right now. Okay, so Clarine is 10893934 and myself is 964008. But again, we will let you know how we can support you to, get started. This is if you're purchasing a starter kit. Okay, a starter kit by 2359, close to midnight, by 20th of May. Okay, again, all these instructions will be sent to your email. So do not worry about trying to remember all of this. Next, really, really important. I want you guys to scan and register yourself right now. So our very next class next week is going to be led by Clarine. So Clarine is a professional person that knows and is trained for baby massages. Okay, so using essential oils on babies. Remember all the soothing action that we did just now? Do you know, by the way, I just need to slip this in, that babies do not have their own nervous system grounded in the early days. So they don't know how to regulate themselves. And little children do what we call co-regulating. So as little kids, what they do is they regulate to how their parents and their caregivers are. So if their caregivers, their parents are angry, anxious all the time, the kids are angry and anxious easily. Okay, because they don't know how to actually regulate themselves. So, so in this class, there is techniques that you're going to learn. You're going to also learn which oils are going to really help. And as you're learning massages, I guarantee you, you're helping your little children, not just babies. You can come in if you want to learn for little children as well. It helps your kids' nervous systems get regulated. So don't think of baby massages as just to put the baby to sleep, okay, or put the child to sleep. You are regulating their nervous system as well. So scan this and make sure you're registered in our classes, okay? Right now, okay, before we jump to Q&A, let me just last screen here. Here's our contact. This is a really important one in case you need to jump off. I've kind of overrun a little today, but I do want to make sure our contacts is available for you. Our emails, our IGs to follow us to continue learning and figuring out and getting tidbits around all the different things that we do. I particularly like to talk about healing from anxiety, trauma, depression. So I do a lot of tips in my IG. So our contacts are there. If you're from Thailand, both myself and Clarine also have Line accounts, so you can contact us through there as well. Now I need to regulate my nervous system. I'm going to jump back here. Well, we don't need this screen, so I'm going to just stop share. And I want to come back live to everybody here. Firstly, I want to thank you guys for actually staying in the room and just learning together. Clarion, is there any questions that I should be answering?
So far, no questions. Actually, Lalene sent me a direct message. So she asked, can deep relief be ingested, or would that be just applying on the stomach for digestion?
It can be ingested. It's just not an oil typically people ingest. But yes. But in terms of relieving the indigestion, it is easily applied and still is completely effective. Yeah. I hope people falling asleep already, huh? Okay. Yeah, everybody's yawning. Good. Yes. Any questions you guys have? So I kind of want to actually emphasize this, that what I've touched today is really tip of the iceberg. There is a mountain of information and works to be learned. So today, what we've done is really teaching you some of the more immediate things that you can use and understand that in order to heal, I want you guys to really remember this, to heal trauma, to heal anxiety, it's not just going to the counselor and doing talk therapy. You need to start working with the body because it has so much stuck narrative in itself. And here, below the head, it's all stuck in here. So if we don't use resources to help the body release, it's going to impede our own healing. Okay, so learn modalities that support your body to release. Thank you, Jasmine and Rena. Yeah, I am so excited by this class that we're going to actually teach it live tomorrow in person with a small group for the people in Singapore. I absolutely want to extend this out, that if you are, connected to me on IG, I've always said this, that because I've walked through the journey of healing, I understand that it can feel scary. And very often we think it is not doable because most people around us, once they get on medication, they are on medication for almost a lifetime. But it is completely possible because this body was created to heal. We just simply need to know how to give it the resources. Okay. Can we use oils for chakra points? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're not doing a chakra session today. Absolutely. We can do an entire 1 to 2 hour class just on that. How to ease anxiety if flare-ups are in the abdomen. Again, where it is appearing, it's just your body's way of talking to you. Okay. So obviously, if it keeps appearing in the stomach, you could use some of the oils like that, what we talked about just now, digest, lemon, peppermint. You can apply just to soothe. But don't just focus on the stomach. Okay. I want you to understand that the anxiety moves around the body. For me, I used to joke and think that I had a 1.5 year to almost 2 years pregnancy because I was retching every morning. Okay. I was waking up and I would just feel like me to throw up. But that's not the only sign of anxiety. So I will find myself having fast heartbeat. I find myself getting to cold sweat, etc. So there are so many little ways your body is talking to you. And remember, it doesn't have to be focused specifically to that. I want you to still practice everything that we're teaching you just now. Even side, remember the breathing, just moving your vagus, huh? Okay. Self-hugging, self-soothing, havening, okay? All that. It may not look like you're applying anything on your stomach, but you're talking to your entire nervous system. And when the entire nervous system is calm, it is going to tell you to stop creating havoc in your stomach. Okay? Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
No more questions in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's already 10:20, so I want to make sure that you guys go to sleep. If you don't remember everything, just remember one thing. And if you already have a bottle of oil with you, bring that to bed with you. If anything should happen in the middle of the night, just tell yourself gently, I have resources. I have resources. I have my breath. I have an oil. I can use this to help myself. Pure essential oils. So I wouldn't mix the essential oils with H2O. Yeah, that's just water. And usually oils and water don't mix. So you just need to have a good quality oil and use them. Yeah. Again, reassuring you guys, I will be sending out emails containing information, etc. So you can reach out to me and Clarin and connect with us on our social media. Okay. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the future classes. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Okay.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night. Oh my God.